Welcome to Buddhist Mindfulness, where we explore life's deeper meanings through the lens of Buddhist wisdom. Today's topic touches on an area many of us rarely reflect upon until it's too late: money management in our golden years. As we age, our priorities shift, and so should our spending habits. It's not just about saving money, it's about aligning our financial choices with values that bring true peace and contentment. In this video, we'll uncover not just 9 things you should stop spending money on in old age, but also add fresh insights, real life examples, and timeless lessons rooted in mindfulness and intentional living. These aren't just practical tips, they're reflections on how to live a simpler, more meaningful life, free from unnecessary attachments and consumer pressures. We'll discuss how mindful spending can lead to emotional well being, reduce stress, and even deepen your spiritual journey. Whether you're already in your golden years or planning ahead, these lessons will resonate. Stay with us until the end because the final takeaway might shift your perspective on wealth entirely, reminding you that true richness comes from within. Number 1, expensive brand name clothing. As the Buddha taught, attachment leads to suffering. This fundamental truth is evident in many facets of modern life, especially in our relationship with material possessions. Expensive brand name clothing often symbolizes more than just fabric and design. It represents a desire to uphold appearances, to signal status, and to seek validation from others. This craving for external approval is a form of clinging, one that can entangle the mind in cycles of dissatisfaction and yearning. Consider the story of Mr. Thompson, a retired teacher who spent much of his career investing in designer suits. His wardrobe was a testament to sophistication, filled with tailored pieces from renowned brands. He believed that his appearance reflected his success and commanded respect. Yet, as the years passed and retirement settled in, Mr. Thompson discovered that his most cherished memories weren't tied to luxury fabrics or polished shoes. Instead, they were found in the simplicity of his days spent in casual attire, surrounded by the laughter of his grandchildren. The warmth of those moments was not enhanced by the cut of his blazer or the label on his shirt, but by the genuine connections and love he shared. The teachings of the Buddha encourage us to look beyond the surface. True elegance and beauty arise from authenticity, compassion, and inner peace, qualities that cannot be purchased or adorned. When we become preoccupied with acquiring expensive clothing to project an image, we risk losing touch with our true selves. This external focus diverts our attention from nurturing the qualities that lead to genuine happiness. Moreover, the pursuit of high-end fashion can foster a sense of comparison and competition. Social media and advertising amplify this effect, constantly presenting curated images of perfection that can trigger feelings of inadequacy. We may find ourselves trapped in a cycle of desire, believing that the next purchase will bring fulfillment. However, as the Buddha wisely pointed out, such cravings are insatiable. The temporary satisfaction of acquiring a new item quickly fades, leaving us yearning for more. In contrast, embracing simplicity can be profoundly liberating. When we release the need to impress others through material possessions, we create space for self-acceptance and contentment. Simple clothing chosen for comfort and practicality allows us to move through life with ease and authenticity. This does not mean we must reject all forms of fashion or self-expression, but rather that we approach them with mindfulness and intention. Why invest in fleeting admiration when comfort, simplicity, and heartfelt connections bring lasting peace? Consider the moments in your life that have brought you the greatest joy. Were they defined by what you wore or by the people you were with, the experiences you shared, and the emotions you felt? Reflecting on these questions can help us realign our values and priorities. Imagine walking through a serene forest, dressed in simple, comfortable clothes. The rustling of leaves, the warmth of the sun, and the fresh scent of nature envelop you. In this moment, there is no need for designer labels or fashionable accessories. Your heart feels light, unburdened by the weight of societal expectations. This is the essence of mindfulness: being fully present, appreciating the simplicity of existence, and finding beauty in the natural flow of life. The teachings of Buddhism remind us that the most precious things in life are often the simplest. A kind smile, a heartfelt conversation, the comfort of a well-worn garment. These are the moments that nourish the soul. By letting go of our attachment to material symbols of status, we open ourselves to deeper connections and a more meaningful existence. In conclusion, expensive brand name clothing may offer a temporary sense of pride or validation, but true fulfillment comes from within. Authenticity, simplicity, and mindfulness are the real markers of elegance. As we cultivate these qualities, we discover that our worth is not defined by what we wear, but by who we are and how we live our lives. Number 2, upgrading to the latest technology. In today's fast-paced digital world, the relentless pursuit of the latest technology has become almost second nature. New smartphones, tablets, laptops, and gadgets are released with dazzling features and promises of improved efficiency, connectivity, and entertainment. Advertisements entice us with sleek designs, faster processors, and enhanced cameras, subtly suggesting that our current devices are obsolete. However, mindfulness teaches us to pause and reflect. Are we truly upgrading our lives, or merely feeding an endless cycle of desire? Consider the story of Mrs. Lee, a 72-year-old grandmother who felt compelled to keep up with the technological trends. She upgraded her smartphone every year, worried that falling behind would isolate her from her family and friends. Each new model promised better features, but Mrs. Lee often found herself frustrated, struggling to learn new interfaces and settings. Despite having the latest technology at her fingertips, she felt more disconnected than ever. One day, her granddaughter visited, bringing along an old, dusty photo album they found in the attic. As they flipped through the pages, memories flooded back. Family vacations, birthday parties, candid moments frozen in time. The faded photographs, worn edges, and handwritten notes held a warmth and authenticity that no digital gallery could replicate. Mrs. Lee realized that her connection with her granddaughter wasn't strengthened by having the newest phone, but by sharing genuine moments together. Mindfulness, rooted deeply in Buddhist teachings, emphasizes the importance of presence over possessions. It encourages us to cultivate awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, helping us recognize when we are driven by genuine need versus fleeting desires. The craving for new technology often arises from a sense of inadequacy or fear of missing out, FOMO, both of which can be alleviated through mindful reflection. Buddhist philosophy teaches that craving, tanha, is one of the primary causes of suffering. When we constantly seek external validation through material possessions, we become trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. The joy of acquiring a new device is temporary, quickly overshadowed by the anticipation of the next upgrade. This endless loop blinds us to the beauty of the present moment and the value of what we already have. Technology, in its essence, is a tool designed to serve us. It can enhance our lives, making tasks more efficient and connecting us with loved ones across the globe. However, when we become overly attached to it, technology shifts from being a servant to a master. We find ourselves compulsively checking for updates, comparing our devices with others, and feeling anxious when we're outdated. Mindful technology use involves setting boundaries and intentionality. Ask yourself, do I need this upgrade, or do I want it because of external pressure? How does this technology enhance my well-being and relationships? Am I present when using my device, or am I mindlessly scrolling? By reflecting on these questions, we can make conscious choices that align with our values rather than succumbing to marketing tactics and societal expectations. Practical steps to mindful technology use. 1. Pause before purchasing. When tempted to buy the latest gadget, take a moment to breathe and assess your motivation. Consider waiting a few days before making a decision to see if the desire persists. 2. Gratitude for what you have. Practice gratitude for your current devices and the functionalities they offer. Reflect on how they have served you well and whether an upgrade is truly necessary. 3. Digital decluttering. Instead of adding more devices, focus on organizing and optimizing what you already own. Decluttering your digital space can bring clarity and reduce the impulse to seek new distractions. 4. Quality time without screens. Schedule regular screen-free time to engage in activities that foster real connections, such as conversations, outdoor walks, or creative hobbies. 5. Mindful consumption. Be aware of how advertisements influence your desires. Recognize the psychological tactics used in marketing to create a sense of urgency or inadequacy. The Buddha taught that attachment to impermanent things leads to suffering. Technology, by its very nature, is transient. What is cutting edge today will be outdated tomorrow. When we anchor our happiness to these fleeting objects, we set ourselves up for continuous disappointment. Instead, mindfulness invites us to find contentment in the present moment. It's about appreciating the simple joys of life, a heartfelt conversation, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of laughter shared with loved ones. These experiences don't require the latest technology, they require our full presence. As you consider upgrading to the latest device, pause and reflect. What am I truly seeking? Is it connection, validation, or a sense of belonging? Can I find these within myself and my relationships rather than through a gadget? Mrs. Lee's story reminds us that while technology can facilitate connection, it is not the source of connection itself. The warmth of shared memories, the comfort of a familiar voice, the joy of authentic presence. These are timeless treasures that no device can replace. In embracing mindfulness, we learn that true upgrades happen within. By cultivating awareness, gratitude, and genuine connections, we enrich our lives far beyond what any piece of technology can offer. Number 3, credit card interest, a modern form of suffering. Interest debt is a modern form of suffering, silent yet relentless. Unlike physical ailments or visible burdens, credit card debt creeps quietly into one's life, growing unnoticed until it becomes overwhelming. The story of Mr. Patel, a retired engineer, is a vivid illustration of this silent struggle. Despite a successful career and a comfortable retirement plan, Mr. Patel found himself ensnared by the invisible chains of credit card debt. His realization? The true cost isn't the interest, but the peace of mind it steals. Credit card debt often starts innocently enough. A necessary purchase here, an unexpected expense there. The allure of easy credit and the convenience of swiping without immediate financial consequence make it an appealing option. However, the interest compounds quietly in the background, turning small balances into formidable debts over time. For many, this debt is more than just a financial issue. It's an emotional and psychological burden. The anxiety of mounting bills, the stress of juggling payments, and the constant worry about financial stability can erode one's mental health. It's a form of suffering that doesn't announce itself with loud symptoms, but rather with persistent, gnawing worry. Mr. Patel's journey into credit card debt began after his retirement. Accustomed to a steady income and the ability to manage expenses comfortably, he was unprepared for the fixed nature of his retirement funds. When unexpected medical bills and home repairs arose, he turned to his credit cards, believing he could manage the payments easily. Initially, the debt seemed manageable. He made minimum payments, believing he was keeping things under control. However, the interest rates were high, and the balances grew faster than he anticipated. Over time, the debt became a constant source of stress, overshadowing his retirement years, which were meant to be filled with peace and leisure. Reflecting on his experience, Mr. Patel shared, "It wasn't just the money, it was the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the regret. The true cost isn't the interest, but the peace of mind it steals." Debt affects more than just your bank account. It impacts your mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. The stress of debt can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems. People in debt often experience feelings of shame and guilt, which can prevent them from seeking help or discussing their struggles with others. The burden of debt can strain relationships as well. Financial stress is a leading cause of tension in marriages and partnerships. The constant worry about money can lead to arguments, resentment, and a breakdown in communication. One of the most profound lessons from Mr. Patel's story is the importance of mindfulness in financial management. Money, much like energy, flows through our lives. When spent with intention, it can create opportunities, support well-being, and enhance life. When spent impulsively or without awareness, it can lead to stress, regret, and financial instability. 1. Spend with intention. Before making a purchase, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this a need or a want? Does this purchase align with my values and goals? Will this bring lasting satisfaction or temporary pleasure? By taking a moment to consider these questions, you can make more conscious decisions, reducing the likelihood of impulsive spending. 2. Understand your financial habits. Mindfulness isn't just about individual purchases. It's about understanding your overall financial behavior. Track your spending to identify patterns. Are there areas where you consistently overspend? Are there emotional triggers that lead to unnecessary purchases? Recognizing these habits is the first step toward change. Practice gratitude. Gratitude can shift your perspective from what you lack to what you have. This simple practice can reduce the urge to spend money in an attempt to fill emotional voids. Regularly reflect on the abundance in your life, not just material possessions, but relationships, experiences, and personal growth. 4. Create a mindful budget. A budget isn't just a financial tool, it's a reflection of your priorities. When you create a budget mindfully, you allocate resources to areas that truly matter to you. This can bring a sense of control and purpose to your financial life, reducing stress and increasing satisfaction. If you find yourself burdened by credit card debt, know that change is possible. It requires a combination of practical strategies and a shift in mindset. 1. Acknowledge the debt. The first step is to face the reality of your financial situation. Denial only prolongs the suffering. Gather all your credit card statements and calculate the total debt. This might be uncomfortable, but it's a necessary step toward regaining control. 2. Develop a repayment plan. There are several strategies to pay off credit card debt. The snowball method. Focus on paying off the smallest debt first while making minimum payments on others. Once the smallest is paid off, move to the next. This method provides quick wins, which can boost motivation. The avalanche method. Prioritize the debt with the highest interest rate. This method saves the most money on interest over time. Debt consolidation. Consider consolidating multiple debts into a single loan with a lower interest rate. This can simplify payments and reduce interest costs. 3. Seek support. You don't have to navigate this journey alone. Financial advisors, credit counseling services, and support groups can provide guidance and encouragement. Sometimes, simply talking about your struggles with a trusted friend or family member can alleviate the emotional burden. 4. Cultivate financial resilience. Once you've addressed your debt, focus on building financial resilience to prevent future issues. Emergency fund. Aim to save 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. This provides a safety net for unexpected costs. Continuous learning. Educate yourself about personal finance. Understanding interest rates, budgeting, and investing can empower you to make informed decisions. Mindful living. Embrace a lifestyle that values simplicity and intentionality over consumerism. This shift can lead to greater contentment and financial stability. Credit card interest debt is more than just numbers on a statement. It's a modern form of suffering that can quietly erode your peace of mind. Mr. Patel's story is a powerful reminder that the true cost of debt isn't just financial. It's emotional, psychological, and even spiritual. However, through mindful financial practices, intentional spending, and a commitment to personal growth, it's possible to break free from the cycle of debt and reclaim your peace of mind. Treat money like energy. Spend with purpose, and remember that true wealth isn't measured by what you have, but by the peace and fulfillment you experience in your life. Number 4, unused subscriptions, a hidden drain on your life and finances. In the age of digital convenience, subscriptions have become an integral part of our daily lives. From streaming services and gym memberships to productivity apps and monthly subscription boxes, these recurring charges often seem insignificant individually. However, when left unchecked, they can accumulate into a substantial financial burden. More importantly, they can clutter not just our bank statements, but also our minds. Consider the case of Mrs. Garcia, a middle-aged professional juggling work and family responsibilities. One day, while reviewing her credit card statements, she was shocked to discover that she had been paying for 5 different streaming services. Ironically, she barely used any of them. The realization hit her like a cold splash of water. How had she allowed this to happen? For Mrs. Garcia, this wasn't just about wasted money. It was a symbol of unconscious consumption, a habit she had fallen into without noticing. She subscribed to these services during different phases of her life, believing they would add value or convenience. Yet, over time, they turned into background noise, both financially and mentally. Subscriptions thrive on the set it and forget it model. They rely on human tendencies like inertia and the fear of missing out, OMO. Signing up is often easy and enticing, with free trials or discounted rates. Canceling, however, requires active effort, and most people procrastinate, thinking, I might use it someday. This passive relationship with subscriptions mirrors how we sometimes live our lives, accumulating habits, possessions, and commitments without questioning their current relevance or value. Just as clutter in our homes can create stress, financial clutter can lead to a sense of disorganization and even anxiety. Decluttering your finances is akin to decluttering your mind. When you eliminate unnecessary subscriptions, you not only save money, but also gain mental clarity. Here's how you can start. 1. Audit your subscriptions. Review your bank and credit card statements for recurring charges. List all your active subscriptions, noting their cost and frequency. 2. Evaluate their value. Ask yourself, how often do I use this service? Does it bring me joy, convenience, or value? Would I miss it if I canceled? 3. Cancel ruthlessly. If a subscription doesn't add significant value to your life, cancel it. Don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. Just because you've paid for it in the past doesn't mean you should continue. 4. Consolidate when possible. Sometimes multiple services can be replaced with a single, more comprehensive option. For example, one streaming platform may offer most of the content you enjoy. 5. Set reminders. For subscriptions you choose to keep, set calendar reminders before renewal dates. This gives you an opportunity to reassess their value periodically. Unused subscriptions are not just a financial issue, they also carry an emotional weight. Each forgotten subscription represents a micro decision left unaddressed, contributing to a background sense of chaos. This mental clutter can subtly affect your mood, productivity, and even self-esteem. When Mrs. Garcia canceled her unnecessary subscriptions, she experienced an unexpected sense of relief. It wasn't just about saving money, it was about regaining control. The act of making intentional decisions about her finances translated into a feeling of empowerment and clarity in other areas of her life. Reflection. What truly feeds your soul? This brings us to a deeper question. What subscriptions feed your soul and which merely feed habits? Consider your current subscriptions. Do they align with your values and interests, or are they remnants of past phases? Perhaps you have a fitness app you rarely open, a language course you stopped using months ago, or a magazine subscription you no longer read. Reflect on the following. Intentional consumption. Are you engaging with these services mindfully, or are they just part of a routine? Emotional value. Do they inspire, educate, or bring you joy, or do they feel like obligations? Opportunity cost. What could you do with the time, money, and mental space you reclaim by letting go of unnecessary subscriptions? Adopting a minimalist mindset can help you maintain clarity in both your financial and personal life. Minimalism isn't about depriving yourself, it's about focusing on what truly matters. By consciously choosing subscriptions that align with your values, you create space for growth, creativity, and genuine fulfillment. Here are some minimalist principles to apply. Quality over quantity. Choose fewer, high-quality services that genuinely enrich your life. Mindful renewal. Before renewing any subscription, pause and reflect on its value. Regular reviews. Schedule quarterly financial check-ins to reassess your subscriptions and overall spending habits. When you declutter your subscriptions, you may notice a ripple effect. Financial mindfulness often leads to greater self-awareness in other areas. You become more intentional about your time, energy, and relationships. This holistic approach to decluttering fosters a sense of peace and purpose that extends beyond your bank account. Mrs. Garcia's journey didn't end with her canceled subscriptions. Inspired by the clarity she gained, she began to declutter other aspects of her life, her wardrobe, digital files, and even her social commitments. Each step brought her closer to a simpler, more intentional way of living. Unused subscriptions may seem like a small issue, but they are often symptomatic of a larger pattern of unconscious consumption. By taking the time to audit, evaluate, and declutter, you not only save money, but also create space for what truly matters. So the next time you glance at your bank statement, ask yourself, are these subscriptions feeding my soul or just my habits? The answer might surprise you and set you on a path toward greater financial and personal clarity. Number 5, lottery tickets. The illusion of luck and the path to true contentment. For many, the allure of lottery tickets is irresistible. The idea that a simple slip of paper purchased for a modest sum could transform one's life overnight is a powerful fantasy. It's a dream that whispers of freedom from financial burdens, the ability to buy whatever one desires, and the promise of eternal happiness. But beneath this shimmering surface lies a profound lesson in the impermanence of material wealth and the true nature of contentment. Mr. Nguyen, like countless others, spent decades chasing this dream. Each week, without fail, he bought lottery tickets, fueled by the hope that one day luck would smile upon him. He meticulously chose his numbers, often convinced that certain combinations held the key to his fortune. Over the years, he spent thousands of dollars, not to mention the countless hours imagining how his life would change once he won. Yet, the jackpot never came. One evening, sitting alone with a pile of losing tickets, Mr. Nguyen had an epiphany. I realized I was gambling with my time, not just my money, he reflected. This simple yet profound realization marked a turning point in his life. It wasn't just about the financial loss, it was about the time, energy, and emotional investment that could have been directed towards more meaningful pursuits. Buddhism teaches that true wealth arises not from external possessions, but from internal states of mind. The Dhammapada, one of the most revered Buddhist scriptures, states, "Contentment is the greatest wealth." This teaching challenges the modern obsession with material success, urging individuals to find fulfillment within themselves rather than through external acquisitions. The act of buying lottery tickets is often rooted in a sense of lack, a belief that one's current circumstances are insufficient. This mindset can lead to a cycle of craving and dissatisfaction, as each unfulfilled hope only deepens the sense of emptiness. In contrast, gratitude shifts the focus from what is missing to what is already present, fostering a sense of abundance and peace. Lotteries exploit the illusion of control. Players believe that by choosing certain numbers or buying tickets at specific times, they can influence the outcome. This belief provides a temporary sense of agency, masking the fundamental randomness of the game. However, this illusion can be harmful, leading to compulsive behaviors and financial strain. Buddhism teaches the importance of right understanding, one of the key elements of the Noble Eightfold Path. Recognizing the nature of cause and effect helps individuals make wiser choices. In the case of gambling, understanding that wealth gained through chance is fleeting can help shift focus towards more sustainable sources of happiness. While the financial cost of buying lottery tickets can be significant, the emotional and psychological costs are often overlooked. Each losing ticket can bring a small sting of disappointment, which accumulates over time. This cycle of hope and despair can create a subtle but persistent undercurrent of dissatisfaction. Moreover, the constant anticipation of future wealth can distract from the present moment. Instead of appreciating what one already has, the mind becomes preoccupied with fantasies of a different life. This distraction can erode relationships, diminish productivity, and undermine overall well-being. After his realization, Mr. Nguyen decided to redirect his energy. He began practicing mindfulness meditation, focusing on cultivating gratitude for the simple joys of everyday life. He spent more time with his family, nurtured his hobbies, and engaged in volunteer work. Over time, he discovered a profound sense of contentment that no lottery win could have provided. His story illustrates a fundamental Buddhist principle: true happiness arises from within. By letting go of the attachment to external outcomes, we create space for inner peace to flourish. This doesn't mean we should abandon all aspirations, but rather that we should approach them with a sense of balance and perspective. Practical steps to cultivate contentment. 1. Practice gratitude daily. Take a few moments each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This simple practice can shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. 2. Mindful spending. Before making a purchase, especially one driven by the hope of quick gain, pause and reflect on your motivations. Are you seeking to fill an emotional void? 3. Engage in meaningful activities. Invest time in activities that bring genuine joy and fulfillment, such as hobbies, relationships, and community service. 4. Meditation. Regular meditation can help cultivate a sense of inner peace and clarity, reducing the impulse to seek external validation. 5. Reflect on impermanence. Contemplate the transient nature of material possessions and the fleeting nature of pleasure derived from them. This reflection can foster a deeper appreciation for the present moment. The story of Mr. Nguyen is a powerful reminder that chasing luck often leads us away from the true sources of happiness. While the dream of sudden wealth is enticing, it pales in comparison to the richness that comes from gratitude, mindfulness, and meaningful connections. In the words of the Buddha, health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship. By embracing these teachings, we can find a sense of abundance that no lottery ticket can provide. Number 6, excessive food delivery services. In today's fast-paced world, food delivery services have become an integral part of urban living. Apps like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, and Postmates have made it incredibly convenient to order meals from an extensive range of restaurants with just a few taps on a smartphone. While this convenience is undeniably appealing, it comes with hidden costs that affect both personal well-being and the fabric of our communities. The modern lifestyle often glorifies productivity and efficiency. With long work hours, social commitments, and the constant hustle, many people find little time to prepare home-cooked meals. Food delivery services offer an effortless solution. No need to shop for ingredients, spend time cooking, or clean up afterward. This convenience, however, can slowly become a crutch, distancing individuals from healthier habits and meaningful experiences tied to food preparation. The hidden costs of food delivery. 1. Health implications. Relying heavily on food delivery services can lead to unhealthy eating patterns. Most restaurant meals, especially those from fast food outlets, are high in calories, unhealthy fats, sugar, and sodium. Portion sizes are often larger than necessary, contributing to overeating. Over time, this can increase the risk of obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and other chronic health conditions. Moreover, when people don't prepare their own meals, they lose control over ingredients and cooking methods. This lack of control makes it harder to maintain a balanced diet rich in fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. 2. Erosion of cooking skills. Cooking is a fundamental life skill that fosters independence and self-sufficiency. However, with the increasing dependence on food delivery, many people, especially younger generations, are not learning basic cooking techniques. This skill gap can have long-term effects, as cooking at home is often more economical and healthier than dining out or ordering in. Number 3, environmental impact. The environmental footprint of food delivery is significant. Packaging waste, often made from non-recyclable plastics, adds to the growing problem of pollution. Additionally, the carbon emissions from delivery vehicles contribute to climate change. Preparing meals at home reduces the need for excessive packaging and transportation, making it a more sustainable choice. 4. Economic considerations. Regularly ordering food can strain personal finances. Delivery fees, service charges, and tips can quickly add up, making takeout meals much expensive than homemade ones. Over time, these costs can significantly impact budgeting and financial health. 5. Loss of social and cultural connections. Food is more than sustenance, it's a cultural and social cornerstone. Preparing and sharing meals fosters connections within families and communities. When people rely on food delivery, they miss out on the rituals and traditions associated with cooking and dining together. This can lead to a sense of isolation and a weakening of cultural ties. Ms. Davis, a busy professional living in a bustling city, found herself trapped in the cycle of convenience. Her hectic schedule left little time for meal preparation, and food delivery became her default choice. Over time, she noticed changes in her health: weight gain, low energy levels, and digestive issues. She also felt a growing sense of disconnection from her cultural roots and the simple joys of home-cooked meals. Determined to make a change, Miss Davis decided to reclaim her kitchen. She started with simple recipes, focusing on fresh, wholesome ingredients. Cooking became a form of mindfulness, allowing her to slow down, engage her senses, and take pride in creating nourishing meals. As she experimented with traditional dishes from her heritage, she felt a renewed connection to her family's history and culture. The transformation was profound. Davis not only improved her physical health, but also experienced emotional and spiritual growth. Cooking became her therapy, a creative outlet, and a source of joy. She began hosting small gatherings, sharing her culinary creations with friends and family, strengthening her social bonds in the process. Cooking isn't just about feeding the body, It's an act of self-care and a pathway to mindfulness. Here are some ways to embrace cooking as a nourishing practice. 1. Start small. Begin with simple recipes that require minimal ingredients and steps. This helps build confidence and reduces the overwhelm often associated with cooking. 2. Be present. Focus on the process, the texture of the ingredients, the aroma of spices, the sound of sizzling pans. Engage all your senses to fully experience the act of cooking. 3. Experiment with flavors. Don't be afraid to try new ingredients and techniques. Exploring different cuisines can be a fun and educational experience. 4. Cook with loved ones. Involve family or friends in meal preparation. Cooking together fosters connection, cooperation, and shared memories. 5. Create a ritual. Turn cooking into a ritual by setting aside dedicated time, playing your favorite music, or lighting a candle to create a cozy atmosphere. 6. Reflect on gratitude. As you prepare your meal, take a moment to appreciate the ingredients, the effort that went into growing and harvesting them, and the opportunity to nourish your body. Home-cooked meals have the power to bring people together. Potlucks, family dinners, and community cooking events create spaces for connection, conversation, and cultural exchange. Sharing food fosters a sense of belonging and strengthens the social fabric of communities. In contrast, the rise of food delivery services can lead to a more isolated dining experience. Eating alone in front of a screen has become the norm for many, replacing the communal aspects of meals that have been central to human societies for centuries. While it's unrealistic to completely eliminate food delivery from modern life, finding a balance is key. Consider the following strategies. Plan ahead. Meal planning and prepping can save time during busy weeks, reducing the temptation to order takeout. Mindful indulgence. Treat food delivery as an occasional indulgence rather than a daily habit. Support local. When ordering in, choose local restaurants that use sustainable practices and healthy ingredients. Home-cooked alternatives. Recreate your favorite restaurant dishes at home. This can be a fun challenge and a way to control the nutritional content of your meals. Excessive reliance on food delivery services may offer convenience, but it often comes at the expense of health, financial well-being, environmental sustainability, and social connections. By rediscovering the art of home cooking, individuals can reclaim control over their diets, strengthen cultural ties, and foster deeper relationships within their communities. Miss Davis's journey is a testament to the transformative power of cooking. It's not just about the food on the plate, it's about the love, care, and mindfulness infused into every meal. So the next time you're tempted to reach for your phone to order takeout, consider stepping into your kitchen instead. You might just find that the simple act of cooking can nourish not only your body, but also your spirit. Number 7, unused exercise equipment. A lesson in connection and movement health isn't bought, it's cultivated. This simple truth often gets lost amid the gleaming rows of exercise machines, the persuasive fitness commercials, and the countless infomercials promising miraculous results. The story of Mr. Johnson and his treadmill serves as a gentle reminder that the journey to true health transcends the boundaries of expensive equipment and solitary routines. It is as much about moving your heart towards connection as it is about moving your body. Mr. Johnson, a retired accountant in his late 60s, decided to invest in his health. Inspired by New Year's resolutions and a persuasive fitness ad, he purchased a state-of-the-art treadmill. It had all the bells and whistles, an LCD display, heart rate monitors, and even a built-in fan to simulate outdoor breezes. For the first few weeks, enthusiasm fueled his morning runs. The rhythmic thud of his steps echoed through his empty house, a solitary soundtrack to his newfound routine. But as the days grew longer and the novelty faded, so did his motivation. The treadmill became less of a fitness tool and more of an expensive coat rack. Dust settled on its sleek surface, a silent testament to abandoned intentions. Mr. Johnson felt frustrated, not just with the idle equipment, but with himself. Why couldn't he stick to his plan? One crisp spring morning, Mr. Johnson noticed a group of people walking together at the local park. Their laughter and animated conversations piqued his interest. Curiosity led him to strike up a conversation with one of the group members. They warmly invited him to join their walking group, emphasizing the fun and companionship rather than the exercise. Hesitant but intrigued, Mr. Johnson accepted. That decision changed everything. The simple act of walking became more than just physical activity. It became a social ritual. The camaraderie, the shared stories, and the sense of belonging reignited his passion for movement. He no longer needed the treadmill because he had found something more powerful: connection. Why equipment alone isn't enough. Mr. Johnson's story is not unique. Across the world, countless treadmills, stationary bikes, and rowing machines sit unused, gathering dust in basements and garages. The common thread isn't laziness or lack of willpower, it's the absence of emotional engagement. 1. The illusion of quick fixes. The fitness industry often sells the idea that buying the right equipment is the key to health. While tools can aid the process, they cannot replace intrinsic motivation. Health isn't a product you can purchase, it's a habit cultivated over time. 2. The missing element of joy. Exercise, when isolated from enjoyment, feels like a chore. Mr. Johnson didn't fail because he lacked discipline. He simply hadn't found joy in his routine. The walking group provided laughter, friendship, and a sense of purpose beyond burning calories. 3. The power of accountability. When you exercise alone, it's easy to skip a session, but when friends expect you at the park, motivation becomes social. Accountability transforms exercise from a solitary struggle into a shared commitment. Movement is not just a physical necessity, it's deeply intertwined with our mental and emotional well-being. Studies have shown that social interaction boosts endorphin levels, reducing stress and increasing feelings of happiness. Combining movement with connection amplifies these benefits. Consider the difference between walking on a treadmill while staring at a blank wall versus strolling through a park with friends, engaging in lively conversation. The physical effort may be similar, but the emotional experience is worlds apart. Cultivating sustainable health habits. So, what lessons can we glean from Mr. Johnson's experience? Seek connection, not just activity. Whether it's joining a walking group, a dance class, or a local sports team, find ways to integrate social interaction into your fitness routine. Redefine success. Fitness isn't just about weight loss or muscle gain, it's about feeling alive, connected, and joyful. Celebrate the relationships you build and the fun you have, not just the miles you log. Listen to your heart. If your current routine feels like a burden, explore new activities. Variety keeps things interesting, and passion sustains motivation. Embrace nature. Whenever possible, exercise outdoors. Natural environments reduce stress, enhance mood, and offer ever-changing scenery that keeps your workouts fresh. Create rituals, not routines. Rituals carry emotional significance. They're more than tasks to complete. They're meaningful experiences. Mr. Johnson's morning walks became rituals filled with connection and joy. Mr. Johnson's story also reflects a broader societal issue. In our modern world, technology often isolates us. We have virtual friends, but few real-life connections. We rely on gadgets to track our steps, but neglect the simple pleasure of walking with a friend. Health isn't just about physical fitness. It's about holistic well-being. Mental, emotional, and social health are equally important. The most sophisticated treadmill can't replace the warmth of human connection or the joy of shared experiences. Every piece of unused exercise equipment represents more than wasted money. It symbolizes untapped potential. It's a reminder that true health doesn't reside in machines, but in our hearts, minds, and relationships. Think of your own life. Is there a metaphorical treadmill gathering dust? Perhaps it's not an actual piece of equipment, but an abandoned goal, a neglected hobby, or a forgotten dream. What would happen if you shifted your focus from the tool to the experience? Practical steps to rekindle motivation. Reassess your why. Why did you start in the first place? Connect with the deeper reasons behind your goals. Find your tribe. Community is a powerful motivator. Surround yourself with people who share your interests and values. Set meaningful goals. Instead of vague targets like lose weight, aim for goals that inspire you, such as complete a charity walk or learn to dance. Make it fun. Life is too short for boring workouts. Dance, hike, play, whatever brings you joy. Reflect regularly. Celebrate your progress, not just in terms of fitness, but in how you feel, the friends you've made, and the memories you've created. Mr. Rao, Johnson's treadmill still sits in his home, but now it holds memories rather than dust. It's a symbol of a lesson learned. Health isn't a solitary endeavor achieved through equipment alone. It's a tapestry woven from movement, connection, and joy. So move your body, yes, but more importantly, move your heart towards connection. In the end, it's not the miles you've run on a machine that matter, it's the relationships you've built and the life you've lived along the way. Number 8, expensive self improvement courses. In today's fast paced world, the self improvement industry has become a billion-dollar empire. From high ticket seminars to exclusive online courses, the promise of personal growth is often marketed with glossy brochures and charismatic speakers. Yet, amid the allure of these expensive programs, one universal truth remains. Genuine growth is seldom found in overpriced seminars, but rather in the quiet moments of self reflection. Mrs. Kim was an ambitious woman, always striving for personal excellence. She believed that success was hidden within the teachings of world-renowned self-help gurus. Over the years, she invested thousands of dollars attending workshops, leadership retreats, and transformational boot camps. Each event promised a breakthrough, a life-changing revelation that would propel her toward ultimate happiness and success. These seminars were grand. Picture large auditoriums filled with eager participants, vibrant stage lighting, and motivational speakers with electrifying energy. Mrs. Kim would leave each session feeling temporarily inspired, her notebook filled with bullet points and action plans. But after a few weeks, the motivation would wane, leaving her feeling more lost and questioning the value of her investments. Frustrated, Mrs. Kim turned to something she had long overlooked: meditation. Initially, she approached it with the same zeal as her workshops, expecting immediate results. However, meditation taught her patience. Sitting in silence, observing her breath, and simply being present with her thoughts became her new practice. Over time, she realized that the wisdom she had been chasing externally was quietly residing within her all along. Why do people like Mrs. Kim spend exorbitant amounts on self-improvement courses? The answer lies in the human tendency to seek external validation. We often believe that someone else holds the key to our happiness, that a secret formula exists, guarded by experts. This belief creates a dependency on external sources for personal growth. Buddhism teaches that true insight does not come from external authorities, but from within. The Buddha himself said, "Be a lamp unto yourself." This profound statement emphasizes self-reliance in the journey of self-discovery. No seminar, no matter how expensive, can replace the transformative power of introspection and mindfulness. The self-help industry thrives on a simple yet powerful marketing strategy, creating a sense of inadequacy. Advertisements subtly suggest that you are not enough as you are, and that purchasing their course will fill that void. This narrative taps into deep-seated fears and insecurities, compelling people to spend money in hopes of achieving personal fulfillment. However, true self-improvement is not a commodity to be bought. It is a continuous process of self-awareness, acceptance, and growth. It requires honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to face one's flaws without judgment. These qualities cannot be packaged into a weekend seminar or a 10-step program. Mrs. Kim's transformation did not come from a single epiphany, but from her consistent meditation practice. Through mindfulness, she learned to observe her thoughts without attachment, recognizing patterns that contributed to her dissatisfaction. This awareness allowed her to make conscious choices, leading to genuine personal growth. Buddhist mindfulness practices, such as meditation, encourage individuals to cultivate present moment awareness. This practice fosters a deep connection with oneself, revealing insights that no external teacher can provide. The journey inward may lack the glamour of a high-profile seminar, but its impact is profound and lasting. The essence of Buddhist teachings is the recognition that the greatest teacher resides within. While external guidance can be helpful, it is ultimately through personal experience and self-reflection that true wisdom emerges. This principle challenges the conventional belief that growth requires external intervention. Consider the metaphor of a seed. A seed contains within it the potential to grow into a magnificent tree. It does not need someone to tell it how to grow. It needs the right conditions: sunlight, water, and nurturing soil. Similarly, individuals possess innate wisdom and potential. The role of mindfulness and self-reflection is to create the conditions for this potential to flourish. In her meditation practice, Mrs. Kim discovered that growth is not about acquiring more knowledge or achieving specific goals. It is about understanding oneself, embracing imperfections, and finding peace in the present moment. This realization brought her a sense of fulfillment that no seminar ever could. True growth is simple yet profound. It does not require expensive courses or elaborate methodologies. It requires honesty with oneself, the courage to face inner fears, and the discipline to maintain a regular practice of self-reflection. These qualities are accessible to everyone, regardless of financial means. The story of Mrs. Kim serves as a reminder that the path to self-improvement is not paved with expensive seminars, but with the quiet, consistent practice of mindfulness. While external courses can offer valuable insights, they are not a substitute for the deep, transformative work that happens within. Buddhist mindfulness teaches us to look inward, to trust in our innate wisdom, and to recognize that the greatest teacher resides within. In a world obsessed with quick fixes and external validation, this timeless truth offers a refreshing perspective. The journey to self-discovery begins not with a ticket to a seminar, but with a single breath of awareness. Number 9, buying a brand new car. Purchasing a brand new car often symbolizes success, independence, and the excitement of owning something untouched. The gleaming paint, the pristine interior, and the latest technology features all add to the allure. Yet beneath this glossy surface lies a reality that many overlook. A new car depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot. The question arises, does your purchase drive you, or do you drive your purpose? When buying a brand new car, one of the most significant financial factors to consider is depreciation. A new car loses about 20 to 30% of its value within the first year and up to 50% over 3 years. This means that the car you bought for $30,000 could be worth as little as $15,000 just a few years later. Unlike investments that can grow over time, a car is a depreciating asset, and this depreciation is often an invisible expense that doesn't show up on your monthly statements, but significantly impacts your net worth over time. Consider the story of Mr. Adams, a middle-aged father of 2 with a modest income. Instead of succumbing to the temptation of buying a brand new car, Mr. Adams chose a well-maintained used vehicle. His decision wasn't driven by a lack of ambition, but by mindfulness. The money he saved from avoiding a new car purchase was redirected toward family travels, creating priceless memories with his wife and children. The experiences they shared, from camping under starlit skies to exploring foreign cultures, added immense value to their lives, value that never depreciated. Mr. Adams's story isn't just about financial prudence. It's a testament to mindful living. His choice reflects an understanding that true wealth often lies not in material possessions, but in the richness of life experiences. The marketing industry spends billions convincing consumers that buying a new car is a milestone of success. Advertisements feature sleek vehicles gliding through scenic landscapes, symbolizing freedom, status, and happiness. This emotional appeal taps into our desires for recognition, security, and even love. But when we peel back the layers, we realize that these feelings are fleeting and often tied to external validation. Mindfulness invites us to pause and reflect. Are we purchasing a new car because it aligns with our genuine needs and values, or are we chasing an image crafted by marketing narratives? Recognizing this distinction can liberate us from impulsive decisions and guide us towards choices that genuinely enrich our lives. Purpose-driven spending is about aligning your financial decisions with your core values and long-term goals. It involves asking yourself critical questions. What are my priorities? Is it financial security, freedom to travel, or providing experiences for my family? Does this purchase serve my values? Will it bring lasting satisfaction, or is it a temporary thrill? What is the opportunity cost? What am I giving up to make this purchase? When Mr. Adams redirected his car budget to family travels, he practiced purpose-driven spending. He recognized that a car's primary function was transportation, not a status symbol. By choosing a reliable used car, he met his needs while freeing up resources for what mattered most, creating lasting memories with his family. If you find yourself considering a new car, here are some mindful steps to guide your decision. Assess your needs. Determine what you truly need in a vehicle. Consider factors like fuel efficiency, safety, reliability, and cost of ownership. Evaluate your finances. Understand the total cost of ownership, including depreciation, insurance, maintenance, and fuel costs. Consider alternatives. Explore certified pre-owned or gently used cars. They often provide the same reliability and features at a fraction of the cost. Reflect on your values. Ask yourself if the purchase aligns with your long-term goals and values. Delay gratification. Give yourself time to consider the purchase. Often, the initial excitement fades, revealing whether it's a need or a want. Does your purchase drive you, or do you drive your purpose? This question invites deep introspection. In a world driven by consumerism, it's easy to let our purchases define us. However, mindfulness encourages us to flip the narrative. Instead of allowing material possessions to dictate our sense of self, we can choose to make decisions that reflect our true purpose and values. When we drive our purpose, every financial decision becomes an opportunity to live authentically. We shift from seeking external validation to nurturing internal fulfillment. Whether it's buying a car, a home, or even daily expenses, the key is to remain aligned with what genuinely matters to us. Mr. Adams' story is not just about cars, it's a metaphor for life. His mindful choice reminds us that while material things may depreciate, experiences, relationships, and personal growth hold enduring value. So the next time you're faced with a significant purchase, pause and reflect. Are you driving your purpose, or is your purchase driving you? In today's fast-paced world, the pursuit of financial freedom often feels like an endless race. However, when we approach our finances through the lens of mindfulness, we discover that true wealth isn't just about numbers in a bank account. It's about the quality of our lives, the peace in our hearts, and the values we uphold. Mindfulness, rooted deeply in Buddhist teachings, invites us to cultivate awareness in every aspect of life, including how we manage our money. Financial freedom is commonly defined as having enough resources to meet our needs without constant stress or dependency. But mindfulness adds a profound dimension to this concept. It teaches us that freedom isn't solely about external circumstances. It's about our inner relationship with money, possessions, and desires. When we're mindful, we become conscious of our spending habits, emotional triggers, and financial goals. We shift from reactive to intentional behaviors, making choices aligned with our values rather than fleeting impulses. This practice not only fosters financial stability, but also cultivates contentment, the true essence of wealth. Practical tips for financial wisdom. 1. Track your spending. Awareness precedes change. Mindfulness begins with awareness. To transform your financial habits, start by tracking every expense, no matter how small. This simple practice shines a light on unconscious spending patterns. You might be surprised at how much slips through unnoticed: that daily coffee, spontaneous online purchases, or unused subscriptions. Use a journal, a spreadsheet, or budgeting apps to document your spending. Review it regularly without judgment. The goal isn't to criticize, but to observe. As you become more aware, you'll naturally make choices that reflect your true priorities. 2. Adopt a budget. Simplicity fosters freedom. A budget is often seen as restrictive, but in reality, it's a tool for freedom. It provides clarity, helping you allocate resources mindfully. Think of your budget as a reflection of your values. Where your money goes should align with what matters most to you, whether that's family, health, education, or personal growth. Consider the 50-30-20 rule. Allocate 50% of your income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt repayment. Customize it to fit your life. The key is simplicity. A straightforward budget reduces financial anxiety, giving you peace of mind. 3. Practice the 30-day rule. Cravings fade, clarity remains. Impulsive spending often leads to regret. The 30-day rule is a mindful practice to counteract this tendency. When you feel the urge to buy something non-essential, pause. Write it down, note the date, and revisit the idea after 30 days. During this waiting period, you'll gain clarity. Many cravings diminish with time, revealing whether the purchase aligns with your values or was driven by temporary emotions. This habit not only saves money, but strengthens your self-discipline. 4. Audit subscriptions regularly. Choose presence over excess. In the age of digital convenience, it's easy to accumulate subscriptions, streaming services, apps, memberships that silently drain your finances. Periodically audit these expenses. Ask yourself, do I still use this? Does it add value to my life? Cancel what no longer serves you. This practice isn't about deprivation, but about making conscious choices. By reducing excess, you create space for what truly enriches your life, both financially and mentally. 5. Leverage senior discounts. Wisdom comes with age and perks. If you're eligible, take advantage of senior discounts. These benefits are a form of financial mindfulness, recognizing the value of experience and longevity. From travel and dining to entertainment and healthcare, these discounts can significantly reduce expenses. Approach this practice with gratitude, not embarrassment. It's a testament to a life lived with wisdom and resilience. By embracing such opportunities, you honor both your journey and your financial well-being. In the words of the Buddha, contentment is the greatest wealth. This timeless wisdom reminds us that financial freedom isn't just about accumulation. It's about appreciation. Your financial choices are more than transactions. They are reflections of your values, intentions, and the legacy you leave behind. Consider this. When you look back on your life, what will matter most? The possessions you acquired or the experiences you cherished? The money you spent or the kindness you shared? True wealth is measured not by what you have, but by the peace and fulfillment you cultivate within. What truly enriches your life? Possessions or presence, spending or sharing, accumulation or appreciation? Mindfulness invites us to pause and reflect on these questions. It encourages us to find joy in simplicity, to seek contentment over consumption, and to live with intention. Financial freedom isn't a distant goal. It's a practice rooted in everyday choices. As you continue your journey, remember that you are not alone. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's support each other in cultivating not just financial freedom, but freedom of the heart. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us at Buddhist Mindfulness for more insights on living with wisdom and grace.